Hello everybody, welcome to the True Life News Show today, guys. I'm telling you, we the people are finally being heard, and it's actually starting to move the needle on the DOGE cuts. The winning is happening, guys. Donald Trump, Elon Musk have used their influence, and we the people have spoken to push Congress to actually do their dang job and start codifying these DOGE cuts starting next week. So remember, our Congress, who's supposedly working for us, just working so hard, took this entire week for vacation off because of all the support and everybody across the board. Even Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene have been coming across, and other congressional members have been saying we need to codify these DOGE cuts. It's starting next week. We've got foreign aid is on the docket. NPR is on the docket. CBP is on the docket. This is finally happening. We, the people, are being heard. They know because a new report has come out that said that if the GOP does not do the DOGE cuts, they will lose the midterms. So all this new polling has come out, guys. The polling is so real. Donald Trump, approval rating at 52% across the board. And you think that's good, guys? Go ahead, take a seat, get some popcorn, because I got a show for you today. Elizabeth Warren has officially been named by one of Trump's guys, David Sachs. We're talking about Pocahontas over here, guys. Elizabeth Warren as the person who was controlling and in charge of the auto pen, the Biden auto pen, executing multiple orders as if she was the president of the United States. This has been guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is huge. This has been revealed to us by David Sachs, one of Trump's top guys. And again, guys, we, the people, are being heard. The people that actually want to see change are making it happen. Elon Musk now came out and has voiced in a new video that all of DOGE's efforts have been wiped away by this big, beautiful bill. He said their failure to reduce spending and they are actually increasing the national debt is not what the people voted for. So I'm telling you, the new report that's come out that said, GOP, if you do not codify these DOGE cuts, you will lose your seats. How do we know this already? Guys, Lindsey Graham just did a new polling because of his stance on not codifying the DOGE cuts. 57% said they are not going to vote for him. Guys, this is huge. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm so excited for what's coming because we're finally getting the savings. We're finally cutting the waste, the fraud, the abuse. The first DOGE cuts bill is coming next Monday. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is the one who is pushing it. We're talking about cutting the foreign aid spending, that ridiculous USAID spending, cutting the NPR, ridiculous biased news outlet spending, almost $500 million, and the CPB app. Guys, everything is coming. She said, personally, I want to pass DOGE cuts every single week until the bloated, out of control government is reined back in. We also have it again, where the federal government, listen guys, again, this is why the whole Congress is so afraid to cut the DOGE, because it reveals what they've actually allowed our money to be spent on. Listen to this, because remember, Congress is in charge of the purse. The federal government paid the Taliban and tried to cover it up by deleting the files per the DOGE team. Elon Musk has seen all of this, guys. The winning is happening for we, the people, to actually get the change that we want in Congress done. Canada is reportedly considering joining the U.S. as the 51st state under a deal that includes the Golden Dome protection. Trump said you either pay us $61 billion a year or $61 billion for the protection of this Golden Dome, or join us as a 51st state, and guess what? You get the protection for free. So now talks are underway. The art of the deal is happening, guys. Trump's approval rating is at 52% and climbing. We are winning. Want to say thank you to everybody. Guys, we got some big breaking news today, guys. This is beautiful. Want to say thank you to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. Thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do this without you. We're truly grateful for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family, clicking that subscribe button so that we can take care of you every day with the top news and serve you. Guys, breaking news, all day, every day, guys. We take care of you. I want to say thank you to our members of the channel. We're so thankful for your continued support, and thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. Every single month on the 22nd, you're going to see this guy donate live on stream to a local charity, and we're so excited. In the next couple of days, we're going to be announcing the charity that we're going to donate to for next month, and every single month, our giving is growing because of your support. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, it really does help the channel out so much, guys. So much is going on today. We have the DOGE cuts that are finally being put on the floor because of so much pressure. Elon Musk has called out the entire GOP for not doing what we, the people, voted them to do. We have it where Elizabeth Warren has officially been named as one of the auto pen executors that was operating and in charge of the auto pen. Biden wasn't involved, guys. This is huge. Let me know what you think should happen to her. And we're finally about to see some massive cuts coming from Congress because they control the purse, and we, the people, want to see the spending reduced. Stop putting us more into debt. Ton of breaking news. Guys, listen to this because the media is having a heyday with what is happening. Check this out.
Donald Trump said that America just went through a long, hard 4 years under Joe Biden with people pouring over the border unchecked. The president then asked a question that we've been asking for the better part of 5 years. Why would anyone do that to their own country? We now know at least part of the answer to that question. Joe Biden was never in charge. And the same members of the media who told the public that Joe Biden pardoned 1,500 people with an auto pen are the same people trying to convince you now that what Donald Trump said at Arlington National Cemetery is somehow controversial. It is not. And we aren't saying that because you're watching Newsmax. We're saying it because it is the truth. The last 4 years under Joe Biden were absolutely awful in many measurable ways. But the real story is one the media is not really interested in covering. The cover-up of the vegetable we had in the White House for 4 years and the people who let it happen. A scandal that these same people now claim is bigger than Watergate.
The next line is, it is an entirely separate scandal. It is a scandal.
Yes.
It is without question, and maybe even worse than Watergate in some ways.
Right.
It's not Watergate.
Right.
This is an entirely separate scandal. Maybe even worse. Maybe even worse.
Guys, and again, I have to show you this because this is some of the most exciting news that we have ever seen when unfolding and revealing the corruptness in our country. This was posted. We're going to show you this video in a moment, but David Sachs, one of Trump's guys, just said that Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, had the auto pen and wasn't afraid to use it and executed so many things. Guys, the cover-up is real. The corruption, the fraud is real. We did not have a president operating in the White House. We had multiple staff members, and even now that we know of, congressional people, leaders that were operating the auto pen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Okay, so Jake, the real question, and it doesn't take a journalist to figure this out, how did you miss it? How did you miss what was so obvious to so many other people? And the answer is simple. Jake missed it because Jake didn't want Donald Trump back in the White House, so Jake Tapper missed it on purpose. We should also mention that Jake spent the weekend complaining about conservative media outlets not inviting Jake on to talk about his book. Jake, nobody wants to help you sell your book. We're all sick of talking about it because we all knew that Joe Biden wasn't well. And now we're sick of people like you swooping in when the credits are rolling, trying to take credit for something that you didn't do. For the record, we have invited Jake to come on Finnerty, but so far crickets from the Tapper camp. But we thought that maybe after the years of lying that have been exposed by the left, we thought maybe this weekend we'd start to see a shift from the media. But of course, that's just never going to happen. The media are like a smoker with lung cancer who keeps lighting up. The media keep lighting up, even if it leads to their death, which it is. And we are going to continue to call this stuff out because other people aren't. This weekend, it was something.
Guys, and we're going to call out, it's not just with the left. It's not just the propagandist leftist media, guys. We're calling out everybody. And this is breaking news, guys, because even on this show, guys, breaking news happens. We're live. We're going to show you exactly what's happening. We, the people, are being heard. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, I'm so excited to tell you what you're about to see. Check this out. This just broke. Speaker Mike Johnson, remember, Congress, he gave them a week of vacation. For what reason? I don't know. We're supposedly on a time crunch to pass the big, beautiful bill and to codify these DOGE cuts, but they're on vacation this week. But he came out and said this because everybody is harping on him. Where are the DOGE cuts? Speaker Mike Johnson promises DOGE cuts, clarifies when and how they will come. He just said when the White House sends its rescission packages to the House, we will act quickly by passing legislation to codify the cuts. The House will use the appropriations process to swiftly implement Trump's 2026 budget. DOGE found savings in discretionary spending. While our one big beautiful bill secured over $1.6 trillion in savings and mandatory spending such as Medicaid, both are historic and take a huge step toward addressing our debt and deficit. Guys, this is what we want. Guys, every video, my video that's out there, and people hear this, they share that. When you voice your opinion, we show them that we want to stop the dang government from wasting our hard-earned taxpayer dollars on stupid stuff. They're finally getting it across their head that we're going to speak up, and if they don't do anything, we will primary them. Listen to this.
All new. Forget about Joe Biden and his health. Let's start talking about Donald Trump and his health.
It is time for Republicans to start calling him out and start questioning his mental acuity and whether or not he is equipped to serve mentally.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this. People tried to talk about the mental acuity of Joe Biden. And as someone who was able to interact with him, I never questioned his mental acuity.
Wow.
What Jasmine seems to be forgetting is that it was never about Joe Biden's age. Never. I mean, he was older, oldest president ever, but it was never about his age. It was always about his brain. And comparing Donald Trump's performance in office through 125 days to any 125-day period of the Biden presidency would be like Larry Bird playing horse with my 6-year-old son. There is no comparison. And after two innocent Jewish diplomats, 26 and 28 years old, were brutally murdered last week, the front page of the New York Times on Saturday writing that the attack complicates the pro-Palestinian movement. First of all, it was not an attack, New York Times. It was a double homicide. It was a murder. But these continued references to this pro-Palestinian movement, I've got news for you. It's not a movement. There's no movement. It's a mental condition. These people are insane. And then we saw this headline yesterday, the New York Times front page, above the fold on Memorial Day. The rise in killings by police dims George Floyd's legacy. Oh,
guys, again, when we see this stuff coming from all these news outlets, it doesn't matter that whatever they're doing right now, common sense is starting to take over. People are starting to wake up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because of this right here. What you're seeing right here, this came out this morning. Republicans may lose the House in the midterms because of Congress failing to pass President Trump's and DOGE's agenda per a new report. All this new polling is coming out. People are fed up. We know the Democrats don't make any sense when it came to that news article that you just saw. But now, people are fed up with the GOP, with the Republicans, of saying one thing and not doing what they said they were going to do. We voted them in to serve we the people, and that's what's going to happen, or you will get voted out. I believe MAGA is rising. MAGA is like replacing the old Republican Party. But again, too, the Democrats have lost it. All we have to do is just do what Elon Musk was put in there to do Trump's agenda, and we win the midterms. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to say thank you so much, T-Cat's Mama, for the super chat. Let's go. Say thank you, Joel, for your excellent work. Thank you so much. And Denise Clark Custom Art for the super chat. said, baby steps finally. Pocahontas should be charged and with treason and stripped of her finances to be given back to the people. 100%. Y'all show Denise Clark and T-Cat's mama some love in the chat. Remember, you're talking about Elizabeth Warren, who we now know is part of the auto pin scandal, that she executed the auto pin without the knowledge of Biden. She came into office, had nothing, doesn't own a company, didn't sell her, now is worth over $70 million. We're telling you guys, we are bringing the truth.
His legacy, the legacy of St. George Floyd. Jasmine Crockett even tweeted that George Floyd should be alive today, and we agree with Jasmine Crockett. And if George Floyd didn't resist arrest, he would be alive today, and we wish that were the case. But for whatever reason, the media, the same media that we've been talking about, still insists that you believe their narrative when it comes to George Floyd. Their narrative that this sweet, precious, adorable suburban father was murdered by a corrupt and racist white police officer in Minneapolis, but the facts tell a much different story. According to the autopsy report of George Floyd, quote, no life-threatening injuries were identified to his body at the time of death. No facial or muscular injuries, according to the autopsy. George Floyd had 11 milligrams of fentanyl in his system at the time of death. That would kill almost anybody else. He was also high on meth at the time of his death, and he had COVID, and he was suffering from a heart condition. Tim Walz, Tampon, Kamala's running mate, tweeted that Gwen and I are holding George Floyd's family and friends in our hearts and prayers. Minnesota continues to mourn his loss and honor his legacy in hopes that it might make our state better for...
Look, guys, his death was tragic, shouldn't have happened, but legacy, he was full of drugs. He had committed crimes. The reason that he was in that situation because he had just committed a crime. Does this excuse the police? No. Better training. And what happened? I mean, it was a horrible situation. But again, when the left continues to uplift the criminals, the illegal aliens, common sense people are sitting back and saying, no, we don't want this. We're voting for something else.
Generations to come, this is about George Floyd. Was the whole thing tragic? Yes. But is the whole thing being reported not accurately? We think yes. George Floyd and the Free Palestine movement, these are the people the Democrats in this country choose to honor on Memorial Day, by the way. At Wake Forest University over the weekend, Scott Pelley, a former CBS Evening News anchor, was invited to speak at graduation when he said this.
Then why are we afraid to speak? The Wake Forest class of 1861, they did not choose their time of calling. The class of 1941 did not choose. The class of 1968 did not choose. History chose them. And now history is calling you.
Great speech. What did he just say?
He didn't say anything.
What you just heard was a member of the media comparing this year that we're all living through right now, 2025, to three of the deadliest periods, not just in American history, but in world history. So how are they connected, Scott? Well, let's start with this year we're living through right now, 2025. In the fall, Donald Trump won a free and fair election against a woman who didn't get a single vote. He won the popular vote, the Electoral College, all 7 battleground states, the House and the Senate. But according to Scott Pelley, 2025 is just like 1861, 1941, and 1968. Let's go through that. Scott, shall we? 1861 was the year the Civil War started, the deadliest war on U.S. soil in American history, North against South. Republican President Abraham Lincoln and the Union Army fighting to free the slaves.
And I just want to say this to you, because this is actually super important to me, that when it comes to what we're fighting for, our freedoms and whatnot, remember, there was a lot of white people that died fighting for the freedom of everybody, black, Mexican, everybody, to have freedom. So when it comes to everybody saying that right now we're in an existential threat under Donald Trump, we people have lost reality, guys. But what we're showing you is that our boy Elon Musk has come out and is literally saying that we have to have change in the government. The slush money fund, all this wasteful spending is not serving we the people. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, we finally have somebody who is going to continue voicing their concern, voicing their again, one of the biggest voices in the world. But Elon Musk explains that the bills can be big or beautiful, but not both. So he talks about his frustration that the Congress, the GOP, the people who are in charge, instead of making smaller government, reducing spending, codifying the DOGE cuts, have done nothing. And this is where, again, this is serving we the people, because now we know that, he's really quick to change whenever he's put into a corner. Mike Johnson has come out and said, we're going to get those DOGE cuts. Yeah, we're going to pass them, because if not, we're going to lose the House. I hate it that this has to happen. This is a part of politics. But what I love is that you have the right people with the right hearts who want America to win, actually voicing with everything inside of them and having the courage to do so, to go up against Congress and the elitists. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to say thank you so much, Alex Sanchez, for the super chat. Let's go. And Lay Lewis, we hope that you feel better. You're in our prayers. We appreciate you so much. Y'all show Lay some love in the chat, guys, because again, too, everybody is all hands on deck right now with what we're fighting, what we're experiencing. Listen to this, guys, because we're winning in the polls. Trump is more popular than ever, but we're still fighting a deep state. Check this out.
Great Robert Barnes put up a tweet. We're back to, and I just did a handoff with Bowling, who was on a raid this morning, going back again. And guess what? They had 20 guys. It was great. They caught a couple of bad guys, these things, but they sent them to some jail. They didn't take them to a plane and put them on going to CCOT. Don't we have to, your brilliant idea, don't we have to right now, President Trump, suspend the writ of habeas corpus and let's get on with it, sir?
People are more than ready. I was just listening to a podcast this morning talking about how the War Room has popularized this idea of suspending the writ of habeas corpus. But, the media keeps shrieking about a constitutional crisis happening or about to happen with Trump. Let me be clear, media. The constitutional crisis is already here. We have a historic record number of national injunctions issued by these leftist activists in black robes called judges at the federal district court level who have hamstrung the duly elected president, and they have ripped apart the Constitution. That is the constitutional crisis, that an unelected Marxist judge in a singular federal district in some, judicial shopped area by Democrats can stop the president from deporting violent cartels, okay? To rectify this constitutional crisis, Trump has to suspend the writ of habeas corpus for illegal aliens only and ship these people out. All we want is what they did on Martha's Vineyard. When a few dozen illegals got shipped there, they mobilized the National Guard and they shipped them off the island in 48 hours or less without a trial. If it's good enough for Martha's Vineyard, it's good enough for the rest of the country.
Rogan, I want you to hang with me. Julie's going to hang. Aren't they winning because they've slowed us down so much right now with all these lower court things? The Supreme Court's so slow to this. We are in the middle of a crisis right now, but they love it because they're winning. They understand we got only got 13 million more to go, right?
Yeah,
don't you think they're winning
right now?
30 seconds.
Yeah, I would say right now they have the upper hand. We are in power. We have control of the federal government. But as of right now, we have the upper hand, they have the upper hand. And that is why I am pushing this idea. The Constitution has tools and weapons that can be used by the government in situations like this. There is an invasion because of these judges, Steve. I guarantee if there's actually some investigating into their communications, we would find coordination with these judges, right? We already found that Chief Justice Roberts is in the same little secret judge club in D.C. with Judge Boasberg, who, by the way, used to be on the FISA court that approved the warrant to spy on President Trump. And then now he's getting picked for all these Trump cases about, deporting violent cartels or whatever. Listen, this is being coordinated, which is why I actually...
And I want to show you this too, because always we bring context. The reason why this is so important is because the Democrats imported voters. You want to see the receipts, guys? We got them for you right here. President Trump has just sued the state of North Carolina. This is the lawsuit right here, guys. We bring the receipts from the United States of America suing the state of North Carolina for refusing to wipe ineligible voters off their rolls. If we don't clean up America, if we don't get illegal immigrants off our voter rolls, guess what? Over 90% of them statistically overwhelmingly vote Democrat. That means that they could take over our elections, make the United States a one-party country if we don't do this. And I'm thankful that we have a president who's willing to say, you know what? If you don't do what is right, what is constitutionally right, then we will sue you to get these voters off of the rolls. Because they're all over. All 50 states have ineligible voters. But what these states are failing to do is actually put the Constitution first and Americans first. But I'm glad that we're seeing this happen, because if we don't do this, we will lose the midterms and the next elections. And I'm so thankful that it was too big to rig.
Like this investigation by Bongino and Cash into the leaker of the Dobbs decision, because it potentially implicates a conservative Supreme Court justice. And I say, if that's true, we figure out who it is. And if that is a criminal action, we discuss punitive measures up to and including impeachment. So we have to start flexing power. The only person flexing actual power right now is President Trump, and he's fighting the entire machine. Why is Congress not dragging these judges in for impeachment hearings, or at least questioning as to if these are being coordinated, or if they believe that federal district judges should have the power to give these national injunctions against the U.S. president by the dozen? So it's time to start taking stronger steps to actually accomplish what President Trump was elected on, with majority Hispanic men support, with a majority vote in this country, and that was mass deportations. If Trump takes these bold steps, we will have his back. We will stand by him.
You've started something that's going to get big and bigger, and it's actually going to come into effect because President Lincoln had to do it. This is a war. 13 million. There are 13 million illegal alien invaders in this country. We haven't lifted a finger to go after Mayorkas or anybody that did this to this nation. You got 13 million here. It's not about them as people. They all...
Think about it. Not one person, Alejandro Mayorkas, not Biden, nobody of the Biden administration has been charged with anything pertaining to the border. Not one, guys, I'm telling you. But I've got something special that just broke. I'm going to show you in a moment, because we, the people, are finally being heard. Having X account, having all the social media platforms not censoring anybody because there's no government censorship anymore is allowing us to actually speak what everybody's thinking in their mind, and it's making huge changes, huge wins. We'll show you in just a moment.
Have to go, or you don't have a country. Okay, Rogan or Hanley, give me a minute. What is your solution right now? What should President Trump and his administration be doing to sort this mess out?
It's very simple, Steve. Right now, the Supreme Court is debating internally about the extent and the power of these federal district court judges to issue these national injunctions. If they make two powers to deport illegal aliens, then President Trump will have no choice but to suspend the writ of habeas corpus and save this country. The history books will thank him. All we want is for judges to have the power to issue injunctions for the parties within their court. Look what just happened at Harvard with that judge when they stopped Trump from disallowing international students. What did the judge do? Crazily, they worked as quick as possible to issue this injunction, but they only issued it with Harvard. They didn't say Trump couldn't do this to every school across the country, just Harvard, because that's the party before them. That's what they should do. If there's 5 Tren Aragua illegals up under Alien Enemies Act before a judge, the judge doesn't get to say every Trendaragua across the country is protected. They get to say these 3 or 4 are protected or they aren't. If the Supreme Court does not limit these injunctions to just the parties before the district courts, then that solidifies that we are in a constitutional crisis and Trump will have to take drastic measures to repel this historic invasion.
We're setting records.
Guys, if you appreciate what I'm about to show you guys, please hit the thumbs up like button. This is historic right here. Donald Trump approval rating, 52%. This is up 6 points from the Democracy Institute. Look at this. Breaking from the leading report, guys, this just happened moments ago. Trump in White House to send several DOGE cut requests to House GOP next week amid online pressure campaign per Politico, baby. Let's go, guys. Show your love in the chat. They are hearing our voices. We are winning. America is winning, guys. This is what we voted for. We will voice our concerns. They will hear us that if they don't do what we elected them to do, they will be primaried and they will lose it, guys. This is historic. It's an historic tweet. I just got to go ahead and heart this because this has not happened before. Of having an online pressure campaign from everybody, posting, doing videos, all this, to get the freaking Congress to do their dang job and stop wasting our hard-earned taxpayer dollars. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because what you're about to hear is so huge.
Right and left, and I saw something yesterday that I never thought I'd see in my polling career, is a 50% right direction print, which means in layman's speak, that a majority of U.S. likely voters, for the very first time in Rasmussen polling history, think the country is headed in the right direction. Only 45% wrong track, net +5. We've had quite a few prints now with a positive net right direction number, and 100% of them have been in Trump 47.
Let's go.
It's really unprecedented.
No, when I took over the campaign in 16, this was the number that Pat Cadell and everybody have been polling on since really the reality of the Iraq and Afghanistan war, since that whole debacle. 2/3 of the nation thought we were on the, regardless who the guy. This is why Obama's hope and change turned out to be nothing. People just saw through it. 2/3, 1/3 is the thing. A 3 handle, something at 33 to 35% to 37%. That's the number of Americans that traditionally think we're on the right track. That's why this is historic. You guys have been doing this for how many years, sir? On right track, wrong track? How long?
Going back to 2006, so this definitely includes the first term of Barack Obama. And I'm sorry, Barack Obama, Trump's numbers just blow you out of the water. And Trump approval numbers are now setting records compared to Obama as well in a couple of respects. And so basically, again, this is just higher than we've ever seen, although it was elevated. Voters were also happy in the direction the country was going. In Trump's first term, he averaged about a 35 to 40% over his term, but COVID was in there and it made it kind of weird. The previous record high was January of 2017, and the previous high before that was February of 2020, when it was soaring again for economic, not political reasons. And we all know what happened next. And so here we are, basically round tripping right direction from pre-COVID highs. And it's because voters like how Trump came in. And we've talked before about how all of his policy agenda items are more popular even than he is. But I'll tell you what, like DOGE was super popular, people understanding the level of waste, fraud, and abuse. This election in the fall was a referendum on business as usual in Washington, D.C. Now, I think it's summertime. I think people are chilling out now. I think we got through a period of economic unease. I don't know what the geopolitical situation is going to do, but what I do think is that if Republicans don't get it together, people are going to start paying attention in ways that they have not before as we approach the midterms. And I can tell you that there is a lot of potential for this to get screwed up, and it would probably come from Republicans right now.
Guys, again, you're hearing what is like so historic right now. The White House will be sending DOGE cuts requests to Congress next week amid online pressure campaign per Politico. That's the power of we the people here, guys, everywhere, whether it's YouTube, whether it's X, guys, whether it's Rumble. But not only that, People are finally standing up and they're calling them out because remember, it is everybody. We even have one of the biggest voices that could potentially be the next president of the United States in the next election who's now called them out. Guys, this is huge. We've never had this before because it's so evident, so apparent. El Prophet 19, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show El Prophet some love in the chat. Listen to this because I'm telling you, this person could be the next president. They've seen what he's done in Florida, and he is literally calling all of Congress out.
$1 trillion deficit is a tax on you. It works its way through the economy. There's no free lunch, and that's what ends up happening. And it's a little frustrating. You know, Elon Musk went into this DOGE effort. He was getting lampooned. I mean, like they're firebombing his Tesla dealerships. Media is smearing him relentlessly. His businesses suffered, all this stuff, because he basically said, look, we can't keep doing this, and we need to moderate and reduce the amount of money that the federal government is spending. And yet, we have a Republican Congress, and to this day, we're in the end of May, past Memorial Day, and not 1 cent in DOGE cuts have been implemented by the Congress. That's one of the reasons why we need a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Hey, guys, nobody is not going to be called out now with all the transparency we have, especially across all the platforms, and now governors are calling out Congress.
It's another reason why we need term limits for members of Congress.
Let's go. That is huge.
But I think what you've seen with how, and I kind of said this early on, that DOGE and Elon were on a collision course with the swamp. And the question is, what would happen? And I don't think there's any question that DOGE fought the swamp, and so far the swamp has won. And that's just unfortunate, but I don't think you can look at this any other way. So this is hardwired into how the people in Washington are borrowing and spending your money.
Yes.
But it has huge implications for the viability of our economy, our country, and everything going forward. And, you know, don't tell me it can't be done. When I became governor, so if you look at, Florida's been a state for 180 years. If you look at...
Guys, I'm telling you, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Does this not sound like the next president who's going to say, for example, Trump came in and he gave us the pathway. I'm going to go in and make sure it actually gets complete. I'm going to fix Congress. Trump fixed so much of America with his executive orders and tariff policies and the border, and I'm going to go in and fix Congress. I'm going to put term limits in. We are going to give the Congress back to we the people, because I'm telling you, the way that he's speaking, that is what people want. That's what the majority of Americans want.
All the debt that's been accumulated over our entire history of statehood, just since I've been governor, we've paid off 41% of it. And we're doing more every day. So that's not adding to debt, that's reducing debt. We have the lowest per capita debt of any state in the country. And if you looked at what your share as a Florida resident is for our outstanding state debt, it's about $400 a person.
Wow.
What is your outstanding share for the U.S. federal debt? It's like $105,000 a person and escalating. Ours is declining.
Ooh.
You also look at Florida. We have the lowest number of state employees per capita. Don't have a big bureaucracy. We are also the second lowest in terms of spending per capita of all the 50 states.
Guys, does this not sound like a campaign speech, guys? And what I love, you're seeing it right here. Majority, 51% of people that were polled from the Democracy Institute say that Trump is fixing America. More than the majority, the actual majority of people say that Trump is fixing America. Moving in the right direction, guys. This is monumental. We actually have a president who is disrupting everything. And now they're feeling the pressure. We showed you this, that Trump's White House to send several DOGE cut requests to the House GOP next week amid online pressure campaign, per Politico. And now we dig into this, guys, because again, the big, beautiful bill, it's got a lot of great stuff in there. It's got some things in there to actually stop these rogue judges from trying to control a sitting president. But all the stuff we're starting to get out of it, there's a lot of cleanup, guys. Too much fraud, waste, and abuse. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Check this out.
President Trump's big, beautiful bill has landed in the Senate. Republicans are eyeing July 4th to get it to the president's desk, but some are balking over ballooning debt. Leading the charge is Senator Ron Johnson, who wants to see more spending cuts in the package.
I think we have enough to stop the process until the president gets serious about spending reduction and reducing the deficit.
Wow.
President Trump has said he's open to modifying the House's bill, but Speaker Mike Johnson wants minimal changes, warning he's already struck a delicate balance to get it through the House. Okay, so Daniel, I understand Speaker Johnson's viewpoint. He had to herd a lot of cats over the past many months to get this bill done. But I think Ron Johnson is making a pretty compelling case that if this is going to be a beautiful bill, it needs to be bigger on the spending cut side.
Yeah, we have a really big problem, though, because we have DOGE, which is one of the most popular things that's happened in America in a long time within the voters. But at the same time, you're seeing nothing happen in terms of, making this a permanent state going forward. We have cuts being made and people don't want them. You have the right side and the left side, by the way. This isn't even partisan. So I understand what Senator Ron Johnson wants, but I also understand the juxtaposition of the speaker. He barely has a majority to push this through in the House. They start going back and changing their direction right now. I don't know if they get anywhere. And then what happens if these tax cuts lapse? And then you have an even bigger problem come the midterms.
And again, too, a great point, but I'm telling you, we the people, just like you were seeing, are actually moving the needle. And now that we know, guys, because I want to go ahead and show you this, now that we know that when it came to the frivolous spending that was happening, it wasn't all Joe Biden. It was his staffers. It was people like Elizabeth Warren. Listen to this. This is insane that now we know when it came to the auto pen scandal, when we came to so much of the spending, when it came to so much of the regulations and executive orders, it was being controlled by a representative of Congress, not the president of the United States.
This is the financial system of the future, Jesse, and we have to encourage it. What the Biden administration was doing, and let's face it, it wasn't Biden. Elizabeth Warren controlled the auto pen during that administration. She, for some reason, has this pathological hatred of the crypto community. She wants to drive this community off.
Did you hear that, guys? Elizabeth Warren control the auto pen. I want to play it one more time because this is the very thing that they're going to testify before Congress. This is what's going to open up the investigations, is they have found evidence, because David Sachs is a big, big deal in the Trump administration. You don't say anything without the evidence.
Pen during that administration. Elizabeth Warren controlled the auto pen during that administration. She, for some reason, has this pathological hatred of the crypto community. She wants to drive this community offshore. She doesn't want it happening in the United States. That's the wrong policy for the United States. We want all the innovation happening here. This is a financial system.
Again, guys, this is why everything that you're hearing now is about to change. When it comes to the big, beautiful bill, when it comes to the investigations, accountability, everybody's on the chopping block right now. You either do what we the people want, or you will be primaried.
So, Taylor, I know that you're not a fan of the ratio argument. You just want to see raw root canal spending cuts. I don't think that happens unless President Trump comes in and muscles that with Speaker Johnson in the House. Do you see this happening? Do you see deeper cuts coming from the Senate?
I know this is where, what did I use with Larry Kudlow? The 5-4 split Supreme Court decision argument, right? Where the majority argues and it sounds so good that I agree with them. And then the 4 members on the dissent argue and it sounds so good that I agree with that decision too. So I understand that we're in this moment where we need the tax cuts. You cannot let those expire. Don't let perfect get in the way of good. If this is good enough, let's do it. The other part of me, Brian, is like, I don't go to the polls hoping that debt to GDP ratio goes down because GDP, the denominator, gets bigger. I go to the polls because I voted for literally a cut in spending, not a slowing of the growth in spending, literally slashing spending. So that's where I think this is.
That's what we want.
Literally, for me, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yes.
When is the next time, do you think, when you can get a president and a Congress and voters to give them the political will and the political capital to cut spending and tackle the debt? This moment to me is so precious, and it could go away in 18 months at the next midterms, that I'm sort of on the side of like, screw the midterms. Let's do it and do it now, because I don't know when I'm ever going to get this moment again. And I could be convinced in either way, but I voted for a cut in spending.
Well, Dagan, in the Senate, you've got some folks who want more cuts. Ron Johnson, Rand Paul's another one. But
Rand's issue, though, is the debt ceiling. That's his.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. No, I agree with you on that. But he said he'd go along with what he calls anemic cuts.
Right.
On that point. But complicating things in the Senate is you've also got, and I'm saying this particularly to you, the Josh Hawley wing. I don't know, maybe he's the only guy in that wing that's actually looking to go the other direction on this, sparing cuts to Medicaid. So take yourself a big gulp of water and then sort through that one for me.
Guys, I know it. Like, Josh Hawley we like him. He's a pit bull. But again, this actually doesn't make sense, because the fraud, waste, and abuse that's in Medicare and Medicaid each year is over $200 billion. That's what Elon Musk is trying to get out with DOGE. That's what the whole point of it. And whenever they say the $1.6 trillion in cuts to Medicare and Medicaid, guys, it's over 10 years. So it's $160 billion a year in cuts, which is, based upon the amount of spending, it's about less than 10%. So it's about 8% of cuts, but what they're trying to do is get the fraud, waste, and abuse out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because again, this could derail everything, but I feel like with what I'm about to show you next, that we the people's voice is getting heard so much that even the Democrats are going to vote for the next revisions coming up, because the populace wants change.
Not a cut, Josh. We're just slowing the spending growth in Medicaid, and not enough. So we're just slowing spending growth in Medicaid to $1 trillion in growth over the next decade. Medicaid should not be Medicaid for all. And that's what you want it to become. You want it to become socialized health insurance and health care, because that's where we're headed. There's no reason that Medicaid should have grown faster than other entitlements. And that's what it's become. And there's no reason it's growing faster than Social Security and Medicare. And it's also, why is it that the Obamacare Medicaid expansion pays $9 for every $1 in state spend versus $1.33 for just, that's paid for the blind, the disabled, pregnant women? That is wrong. And it violates the very essence of what Medicaid is supposed to do. One thing I will point out, it does remain to be seen. There are some people, I think Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, are not in favor of deeper Medicaid cuts. I just want to make a point, and the scoring of these bills is not great sometimes, but the Penn Wharton budget score I think it came out late Friday, the dynamic score, which assumes changes, it doesn't just look at a static economy, but changeable bill, then the static score.
So they're not baking in that growth and more tax revenue from that growth.
Well, and I asked someone, so the total, it adds, the dynamic score adds more to the deficit than the static score. I asked someone, how is it that the dynamic scoring delivers a larger deficit? Quote, SALT does nothing for economic growth, the state and local tax deduction. It just is an added expense, which means more debt and more interest.
Yeah. Okay, so
guys, and what they're talking about, again, we bring you the context of everything because they're not showing you numbers. So the SALT cap has been raised. Take a seat, guys, because this is huge. The SALT cap has been raised from $10,000 to $42,000. That is literally over a 300% increase to the SALT cap. This is why Mike Johnson is a bad negotiator, because he will give whatever these other people want to get a bill through. If that means putting us more in debt, increasing the national debt, it doesn't matter. And it blows my mind. How do you go? I understand going from 10 to maybe 15, and even on a long home run shot, 20,000 increase in the SALT cap. How do you go from 10 to 42,000? Unless somebody's in it, somebody's getting paid. Guys, this is why it is so important. Thank you so much, B1 Sly One, for the super chat of what B1 Sly One said. Term limits, no free healthcare, no lobbyist, no Wall Street investing, 220 days of work. Right now, our congressional people are on vacation this entire week. They only work about 141 days a year. And we're not getting our money's worth because they get paid $175,000 a year to work 140 days out of the year, when the average American works 240 days, 100 days more. And that's why I feel like what you're seeing on the screen now, 57% of Republican voters in South Carolina will not vote for Lindsey Graham in the primary, according to a new poll. People are tired of the rhinos. They're tired of people taking advantage of the American tax people, our tax dollars, not putting us first, and we're enough is enough. That's why what you're about to hear next is super important, because we need radical change in government.
Boom. I had a question for you.
And so please feel free to get rid of the increase in the SALT cap, Ron Johnson.
You often make the point that Democrats stick together, Republicans fracture, and that's why they can't get things done. Are you worried that Republicans are fracturing right now in a way that could jeopardize this bill?
Very. You've got three ways that it could go. In the Senate, they could start, ripping it apart and making such drastic changes that they can't possibly pass it. You've got people who are saying we should be doing, even after all this conversation, that we should be doing this in pieces. Ultimately, they should be working together to pass it. Maybe you get from 1.6 trillion to the 2 trillion that Russ Vogt is talking about, with a little bit of a delta there. I don't think you can go much further than that. Then you've got to start to rely on the growth aspect, as Taylor points out. But like Taylor, I have a lot of concerns about that. Why aren't we taking this opportunity to scale back all that expansion of entitlement spending that we saw? Because if we don't do it now, we're never going to do it. That's number one. And number two, if the growth is really going to be there the way some of the scoring says it may or may not be, and I always say that's a Hail Mary, it's really hard to predict, then we could use that money for things that are more important to us, paying down our debt and deficit, or programs, if we're in better shape in that regard, programs that we think are necessary at that time. And so I worry about this, but I also know that time is of the essence. And so that's the other aspect of this, that, maybe not perfect, but good is good enough because it's got to be done now.
Yes.
Daniel, yeah.
And again, guys, we bring you the receipts. Everything that you're seeing on the screen, this is literally where our representatives are at right now. They only work half a month in June, less than half a month in July, and have the entire August off. Guys, that's just next month. They're taking a vacation week. Congress is right now. This entire week they're taking it off. And then they only work less than half of the days in June, less than half in July, and then they take all of August off. So you tell me, what is screwed up right now? Is it Congress? 100%. They control the money. They control the purse, and they give themselves days off. This is their calendar, guys. Look at how many days are not in yellow. Those are the days off that Congress gets. Now you tell me, how is it that we continue to vote for these people, to be in office, to actually serve we the people, and nothing ever changes? They keep spending us into oblivion. We keep getting more and more into debt. We aren't seeing any increases. All we're seeing is they want to increase taxes on everybody. It's a dang shame, but what you're about to hear next is one of the new pit bulls coming out who's saying we have got to have change and we're going to make it happen. Listen to this.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, as you heard in our open, Elon Musk has said he's disappointed with the One Big Beautiful Bill and what it does to DOGE. I mean, are you surprised that someone who's such a big supporter of the Trump agenda has come out against it? And some have suggested this is just part of it. You still have the rescission process and the actual appropriations process where the true DOGE cuts are going to show up.
That's a great point. I'm glad you mentioned that. You know, the budget reconciliation can only deal with mandatory spending. Mandatory spending is anything pertaining to Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, federal employee benefits, things like that. A lot of what Musk is focused on and done a tremendous job is discretionary spending, not mandatory spending. So, you know, I think we're going to do everything we can. I know the conservatives like myself and people like Ted Cruz, and we want to pass the DOGE cuts. But we've been instructed by President Trump to focus on the budget reconciliation bill, which again is mandatory spending, not discretionary spending. I know it's a little confusing, but once we get this big, beautiful bill, I think you're going to see more of these DOGE recommended cuts passed through Congress. That's my hope anyway. So I believe at the end of the day, if Musk will work with us on this, I believe that we can accomplish everyone's goal. And the goal is to get the backs of the American taxpayers and get runaway spending under control.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I want to get into this because I know you and your fellow members of the House Oversight Committee are demanding former high-ranking staffers in President Biden's White House appear in front of the committee to describe their roles in working behind the scenes, essentially, to cover up the former president's significant mental decline. We saw it on full display all the time, but we were lied to for 4 years. What do you hope to find?
Well, we're starting at the bottom, and these employees that we're bringing in, the 4 employees, are the ones that we believe actually operated the auto pen. We're starting with them. We're going to find out who gave them the authority to stick executive orders and pardons in the auto pen and press the power button and sign Joe Biden's signature. We believe this will lead to the higher up people, the Claims and the others that have been mentioned as the people who are actually running the country while Joe Biden was in his mental decline. So we're going to try to get the truth to the American people. And at the end of the day, this is very important because so much of what was done at the end of the Biden administration was done by executive order using that auto pen. We don't
Guys, again, we bring the receipts. Look at this. Trump came out and said, other than the rigged presidential election of 2020, the biggest scandal in American history is the auto pen. Whoever used it was usurping the power of the presidency, and it would be very easy to find out who that person or persons is. They did things that a Joe Biden of sound mind would never have done, like open the borders, transgender for everyone, men and women's sports, and far more. Fear not. However, we will bring back America back. Bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. We are doubling down, guys. The auto pen scandal that we now know that David Sachs, one of Trump's big guys, has come out and said that Elizabeth Warren was actually one of the auto pen users who was actually executing things through the auto pen, telling people what to do. We are going to investigate this, but what I love is that they're not letting it down. This stuff, news is always happening so fast, but if we don't let it down, we expose these crazy leftist Democrats to the American people, we will have a revolution in America. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What should happen to Elizabeth Warren because of that?
That would be valid. And that's important because Donald Trump's in court for a lot of things that he campaigned on, a lot of draining the swamp type issues, and they're being held up because of these executive orders that were authorized perhaps by unnamed bureaucrats and signed with an auto pen.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so speaking of this hearing, look, President Biden's not the first president to hide his health from the American people. Woodrow Wilson, FDR, JFK also come to mind. My question is the 25th Amendment. Now, we know the president can self-execute it. We know that when they undergo anesthesia. We know the vice president and the cabinet can do it. But Section 4 also says the Congress could create another body to temporarily remove the president. Do you think that it's time for Congress to step in and say, never again, we're not going to have a president, first family, and AIDS hide from us what's actually going on?
Well, we need all the checks and balances we can have. The first thought that comes to mind with that is Congress is so partisan and so political now that I could see, especially when the Democrats are in control of the Congress, trying to do the 25th Amendment every other day, especially to a president like Donald Trump. But we have to have checks and balances. Certainly, history will show that the Biden administration did not comply with their constitutional duties. The evidence that's come out in the last couple of weeks with the Tapper book and all the other tell-all interviews with the Biden staff is Joe Biden was essentially a mental invalid and was not.
And guys, they ran basically, he wasn't president. There were staffers that were basically the president. And I got something to show you from the leading report over a shadow government that the Democrats have proposed. And don't think that they're not working on stuff like this, guys. We have explicit knowledge of Democrats that are 100% trying to go against everything that Trump is doing. You're not going to believe the names that I show you, that this is actually reality we're living in.
Making the decisions to run the country. We're going to find out on the Oversight Committee, hopefully, who that person or those people were who were making the decisions. And I think that, one reason you study history is to try to not repeat the mistakes of the past. Right. We're going to try to fix this problem to where it never happens again. And hopefully, maybe we can kick some of these executive orders out that are giving President Trump so many fits in court right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right. Guys, this is huge what you're seeing right on the screen, guys. The Democrat pitches the idea of a shadow cabinet to help thwart President Trump's agenda. This is from the leading report, guys. This is real stuff that is happening. And you want to talk about a coup? You want to talk about insurrection? This is what it sounds like. And this is what I think every single person that is involved with this needs to be held in contempt of Congress and put in jail. Look at this. Bill Nye for the Shadow Environmental Protection Agency admin. Mark Cuban for the Secretary of Commerce. Letitia James for the AG. Governor Katie Hobbs for the Secretary of Education. John Fetterman's wife for the Secretary of Homeland Security. And Jon Stewart for the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. This right here, guys, we are seeing so much come out, so much exposure of the corruption, the fraud that's been going on in Congress. But what I love is that we have these platforms that we can show you everything, guys. What you're seeing is you're not going to see this on mainstream media. We bring you everything across the board, the breaking news, the what's going on that is actually happening in real time. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button for us, thank you so much for that, helping us out, guys. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. We cannot do this without you. We're so grateful for your support. And if you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want to serve you with the breaking news, top news every single day, guys. We bust our butt to give you the best show. And I want to thank everybody that is a member of the channel. Remember, when you're a member, when you give a super chat, we take that money and we donate it live on stream on the 22nd of every single month to a local charity. And this past, about on the 22nd of May, we donated over $3,000 to a local children's home. And we're doing it with your support. When you give a super chat, you're a member, or you buy a t-shirt, you're helping to grow this giving. And every single month we're growing, guys. And it's all because of your support. So we want to thank you from the bottom of our heart for helping us do that. I want to give some love to those that have given today. Della Cole, Lisa Bauer, T-Cat's Mama, Denise Clark Custom Art, Greg, thank you so much for the super chat. Our boy from London, Alex Sanchez, Lay Lewis, El Prophet, B1 Sly One, Olga Turnquist, Ruby Hoove, thank you so much for gifting a True Life News membership. Guys, please show them some love in the chat. Thank you so much for liking these videos, sharing these videos. We're going to get the truth out. We're going to make sure that you are fully informed, guys. We love you. We thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, real quick, before I go, already, because look, guys, I tell you what, we'll do things ad-lib. Thank you so much, Tammy Ash, for the super chat, and Ruby Hoove again, guys. Show them some love in the chat. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.